Hello and welcome to GLISA's walkthrough of the Lake Level Viewer. The Lake Level Viewer is an interactive map tool that allows users to explore variations in Great Lakes water levels and visualize the effects of lake level fluctuations on shorelines and coastal areas. This tool was developed by NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This video is meant to provide additional guidance for potential end users in the Great Lakes region to help them navigate and better understand the Lake Level Viewer and its potential applications. After this introduction, I will explain how to use the tool and its key features. Then I will walk through an example demonstration explaining how to interpret the outputs of this tool. To access the tool, just search for Lake Level Viewer in your browser, and it should be the first result to pop up. I'm going to briefly explain how to navigate and use the tool before moving into the more in-depth demonstration. Once you are on the home page, you can either click on one of the listed lakes or type in a location. Once you choose which of the Great Lakes you would like to explore, you will see a map, various icons, and multiple features that you can interact with, and we'll walk through all of them over the course of this video. On the left-hand side, there is a slider bar feature that allows you to adjust water levels and see how they appear on the shoreline. There are 3 data layers available to view: water level, land cover, and social vulnerability index. On the map itself, you may click on a station icon to reveal a time series graph of lake level observations for that location. You may click on a camera icon to display a shoreline photo from that location with a simulation of water level changes that can be adjusted using the slider bar feature. And all of this data can be downloaded to use outside of the tool. Next, we will explore each of these functions in more depth using Lake Michigan as an example. By clicking on one of the listed Great Lakes, Lake Michigan here, the map viewer will zoom out to center on that lake. We can click on a station icon to view a time series graph of historical lake level observations in that location. For example, in Ludington, I can view observed daily lake level data for individual years. This will default to the current year, but if there's another year I want to look at, I can use this dropdown. Say I want to look at 2020. Water levels on Lake Michigan were extremely high in 2020, so I can look at the whole year or a shorter time scale by either clicking and dragging on this bottom chart or by entering specific dates at the top. I'll return to the main map and click on one of the camera icons. This displays a shoreline photo from that location with an overlaid simulation of water level changes that can be adjusted with the slider bar feature. I'll start by actually clicking on the Current button, which will simulate what this area looks like under the current observed lake level conditions. Still pretty far down on the beach, a little hard to see behind the settings here, but as I drag the water level higher on the slider bar, the simulated lake in the image moves higher onto the shore. I can bring it all the way to the top, which would see the entire beach covered up to the tips of these bluffs here. Keep in mind that this only simulates calm conditions, so if you add in a storm with high winds and waves, this area would likely experience quite a bit of erosion. However, these conditions have never been seen on record. I can click the High button, which will show the simulation for the highest lake-wide average water level on record to give us a frame of reference. We can also click the Low button, which is the observed record low, taking the simulated lake way back down and exposing much more beach and shoreline. This just helps visualize where the shoreline would be under different lake level conditions. You can also use this same slider bar feature in aerial view. For example, along the beach near the photo we just looked at, you can see how lowering or raising water levels might impact the shoreline. It's still set at record low from before, so if we drag this up, we can see water moving further inland impacting the shoreline. The mapping does not capture detailed features, so keep in mind that this is only a screening level tool. You can view the depth shown on the map by clicking the legend icon on the right side of the screen. Other buttons on the right of the screen allow you to choose different base maps, share a URL of a specific location you are viewing, download the data for use outside of the tool, or browse the FAQs if you want to know more about using the tool and data sources. You can also change some settings for viewing lake level depths by clicking the gear icon at the top of the left panel. Here you can change the units of measurement from feet to meters. You also have the option to select which datum you are viewing, but generally you can stick with the default low water datum option. You can change the opacity of the water level data layer if you'd like to see more or less of the underlying base map features. You can also turn on records and averages, and turn on a digital elevation model. The tool allows users to explore more than just water levels, with additional map layers for land cover and social vulnerability index data. The water level layer was just shown, but you may click on Data Layer to change the selection to land cover. The colors displayed can be identified using the legend to see whether an area is developed, agricultural, forest, wetland, and so on. The social vulnerability index may also be viewed by selecting from the Data Layer dropdown. The legend tells us that this data is displayed from low to high social vulnerability as determined by the CDC through census data. If you'd like to know more about any of the data sources, you can always click on the information icon. Both the social vulnerability and land cover data can be displayed over the lake level data layer. This could be used to get an idea of where locations with vulnerable populations might be impacted by high lake levels. Overall, the Lake Level Viewer is a helpful tool to visualize shoreline impacts from water level changes. I hope this was a useful walkthrough and that this video helped you better understand how to use the Lake Level Viewer. This video was created by GLISA, a climate adaptation partnership team funded by NOAA that is dedicated to helping the Great Lakes region build lasting and equitable climate resilience. This is one of several tutorial videos intended to help make climate, weather, and coastal resilience tools more accessible to end users in the Great Lakes region under a project funded by Michigan Sea Grant. There are also accompanying guidance documents available for each of the tools covered in these videos, available at the link here and in the video description. The guidance document contains contact information if you have questions about the tool. This video and accompanying guidance document were created for educational purposes only and are in no way affiliated with the Lake Level Viewer or its developers.